welcome into another episode of the Movie Geek Podcast. I'm your host, George T., and this is your weekend box office report and what is to come this weekend. Also, in this episode, I will do a review of a movie from the beginning of the year called Companion. It is probably going to be, up in, some top tens, some top 25s at the end of the year. Um, there is one movie that's coming up this weekend that will be nowhere near that and probably will be up for Razzies. I mean, I could be wrong. We'll get to it, or we won't really talk about it, but we'll at least acknowledge the fact that this movie was made and, unpopular take. If you really liked the first one, did you really need a sequel to this movie? But we'll get to that. Also, hit the subscribe button. I know you guys are loving the content because you're watching. You're also watching the shorts, so thank you. Hit that subscribe button, like a few things, share a few things. Just second year doing this, and I've had a blast. As I said to Rich Keefe, which you should go back and watch that um, episode. Getting the second season in and being able to do this on YouTube fully. Right now, Spotify is just not working out. Probably should have stayed with Buzzsprout, but Spotify hasn't worked out, so I apologize for those people who were listening there and now have to tune it here. But now you get to see me and not have to listen to that. Okay, anyway. Let's get to the weekend box office, shall we? So last weekend, the big winner, number one, stayed number one, but we'll go by number 5. Mission Impossible still hanging on. It was 4th. It is now 5th at 6.9 million. Lilo and Stitch dropped from 2nd to 4th, making 9.7. Elio from Walt Disney made 21 in the 3rd spot and brand new. Number 2 was also brand new, 28 years later, $30 million. Okay, so I have not seen this movie yet. I was going to wait and see it with George because I've seen the original 2 movies, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. So I was going to wait. And then he told me he didn't really want to see it because of all the reviews. It made $30 million, but I want to see what kind of a drop off it has after, kind of scrolling through. And I don't really read reviews until after I've, either done my podcast or seen a film, especially if I have questions, what I saw as opposed to what other people saw. And then I kind of make my own decisions from there sometimes with movies, because some movies can make you think, other things. So, but 28 years later, I will probably see it at least for my own edification because I did see the other 2. Conversely, I could actually like it. Some people didn't. I know my friend went to go see it with her family. She said it was weird and somewhat comical, which doesn't bode well. But a lot of people hated Electric State from Netflix, the Russo brother one, and I actually liked it. I actually thought it was okay. So, again, I'm just here giving reviews on how I see things and what movies that I think you want to see, what movies you should see. You guys have your own opinions, and I want to share that with you guys. Comments, like, subscribe, the deal. So that is your top 5 movies for the past weekend. Materialist dropped from 3 to 6. Ballerina dropped from 5 to 7. Final Destination also dropped to 9th. Karate Kid dropped to 8th. A movie I did see that I don't know how to describe it, but I'm going to try to. along with other Wes Anderson films, was the Phoenician Scheme. That at least um, is top 10. Life of Chuck still bothers me that there is like barely any theaters showing it, so I may have to wait till it's on Fandango at home to see it because, quite frankly, I can't find a theater for it, and I want to see a Mike Flanagan production, just plain old simple. So anyway, um, so uh, we've got some movies coming out, very limited release, as always, and then we have some video on demand and uh, streaming movies as well. And then we have two major ones, although really one major one, and then one major pain in the ass that I don't know why it was made. Because the first one didn't need a sequel. Or at least I don't think it needed a sequel. But hey, if you guys out there think it should be, go ahead and comment. Tell me why it should have been made. Um, and I want to see how well it does at the box office. It may be one of those things where it's so silly that it will make money. Like Minecraft, for example. I just saw this on Max. You know what? Maybe I should review it at least to go along with like the video game ones that I've already done. Uh, all right, let's start with the small end movies. We've got Afternoons of Solitude. This is a Spanish film. It is about a tormented matador and how matadors are perceived through the bullfighting community and um, you know, around you know, the fans of it, and obviously tormented by um, personal failure and triumph and whatnot. So there is that movie in very small release. We have Pony Boy. Now, this has been made a few different times by a few different people. Basically, this one is unfolding over a course of Valentine's Day. Um, a young intersex sex worker must run from the mob after a drug deal goes south and forcing him to confront his past. Usually in a movie, a drug deal always goes south. So, but this has been done over, like I said, a few times. So, if you are into that, that will be an option for you. Another movie that's coming out in limited release, Sorry Baby. Uh, Something bad happens to Agnes, played by Eva Victor. Um, but life goes on for everyone else. When a beloved friend of hers is on the brink of a major milestone, played by Naomi Atkin. She was in Mickey 17 earlier on. Um, Helps Agnes realize that she's stuck in a rut and is going to help her get on that fast track back to her happiness. So this looks like an interesting film, and probably we'll see it when it gets on to streaming service. Another movie that's coming out, The Sound. A group of climbers embarks on a dangerous climb that has been off limits for years. What initially began as an audacious expedition, isn't it always that way? Um, for transforms into a battle for survival against a force that toys with them. The trailer is pretty interesting. Um, as somebody who isn't afraid of heights, this movie won't be that bad. But if you are afraid of heights, this movie may be a skippable one for you, especially the terror that they face coming up. A short film, even though it's like an hour long, short, but Stealing Pulp Fiction. This three Hollywood buddies, or wannabe friends, actually, team up with their kooky therapists, played by Jason Alexander, um, to plot a heist to steal Quentin Tarantino's original 35 millimeter personal print of Pulp Fiction. This sounds like a very crazy movie. Um, and again, as they say, it's a short film. Uh, but yeah, it's kind of a crazy plot. I personally, and this might be a bad take and might get some people in the comments, or in fact, may get people not to like the episode, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Pulp Fiction. I mean, the movie was okay, but I've never got swept up into the lore of the movie and why it is a cult classic. If you guys would like to explain that one to me in your own opinion, I would love to. But again, I think Quentin Tarantino you can love or hate. Natural Born Killers was so good. Kill Bills weren't too bad. Um, so again, it's give and take, with Quentin Tarantino. So uh, it is what it is. All right. Another movie, Hot Milk. Uh, this is what a strange illness uh, of a mother, played by Fiona Shaw, and daughter, played by Emma McKay, embark on a journey to the Spanish coastline to find a cure. Along the way, the daughter discovers that there's a reality far greater than the one that her mother has overbearingly shown her. So, um, this looks like one of those um, daughter um, finding inspiration and also love, and you know, it's the classic cliche: the mom's overbearing. Oh, now I might be on my own. Oh, look at this! I discover things. So, um, so yeah, that is another one. So now we've got three movies that are coming out on video demand or on a streaming service. We have Ice Road Vengeance, a sequel to the original Ice Road, starring Liam Neeson. Another sequel that I didn't know you needed. Ice Road was okay. It's a heist on Alaskan ice roads. It's about the extent of my knowledge on this film. I did see it; it was okay, but I didn't again need to see a sequel. And I'm probably gonna pass on that. Who knows? I don't know. I do like to watch movies. In vitro. Um, this one may not be as what you think, so let me go over this. Um, a struggling cattle farm uh, somewhere in the distant future. A young housewife discovers a terrifying sequence of consequences that her husband has uh, been doing with animal breeding technology, starring Will Hooworth and Talia Zucker. All right, so either we're cloning or we are trying to mutate animals on a farm. Interesting, interesting stuff. Finally, on Tubi, we've got Please Don't Feed the Children. I know, I know this sounds so weird, but um, it's nothing remotely weird. This is going to be very scary for people After a deadly viral outbreak, a group of off orphans flee in search of a new life. Unfortunately, on their way, they've been taken hostage by a woman hiding a very sinister secret. Isn't that always the way? Viral outbreak, orphans go missing, and somebody's got some strange secrets. I probably will see it because I have 2B. So look for that review, I guess. All right, two films also on the list. We've got F1. Brad Pitt, starring as an aging racing driver who has never really panned out in the scene of F1. He has done better in NASCAR, but he gets one more shot by a team owner played by Javier Bardem. So, if it is kind of like Gran Turismo, which was a surprise for me last year, or no, it was last year, year before, I don't remember. But Gran Turismo had some of the best kind of racing scenes that I had seen, and I'm not a big race fan, so shoot me on this one. But F1, this looks pretty real as well. I'm wondering how they were able to do all that with um, high precision racing cars. I mean, the F1s are a whole different ball game than NASCAR. Obviously, you know, the funniest NASCAR one is Talladega Nights. Obviously, back in the day, Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise was you know, the vital see, this is what NASCAR looked like. So, and a lot of people love the movie. So, I think this one has the capability of maybe making a run for the top spots. So, we'll see. We'll see. Again, um, you know, box office has been um, very kid oriented again, like last year, where the kids' movies are making more money. And that's great to see. That means that our people are going back to the theaters with their families. Yay. And one movie I don't really want to talk about because I don't think it deserves a sequel is Megan 2.0. And this is about as far as I go with this. Just seeing the first teaser trailer, I questioned why. I've seen the trailer since, and I still don't get it. I still don't get what the appeal of this movie is. I really don't. So if you are going to go see it, afterwards, you see the movie and you give me a comment as to what you think, please, by all means. But I will not be reviewing this movie. I may eventually see it down the line. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. But this, again, as a movie person, and I really enjoy watching a lot of movies. I was telling somebody today, with all the streaming services and going to the movies, there's just so much stuff, and also TV as well. Um, Walking Dead, Dead City just finished season 2. I'll have a review of that. I totally forgot about that. And also trying to watch some other films as well. Like, there's just so much out there. So Megan 2.0 is definitely not on my radar. No, no. So F1, I think, wins the box office this weekend, but I am curious to see what Megan 2.0 brings in. I really am. Because, again, this did not deserve a sequel. Fair and square. Now, the movie I want to actually direct your attention to would be Companion. This movie stars Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid. This is a weekend getaway for the two of them with some friends. Um, Kat, played by Megan Siri. Harvey uh, Gullen plays Eli. Eli's uh, friend and lover, Lucas Gage, uh, plays Patrick. Megan Suri plays Kat. And also Rupert Friend plays Sergey. So they go out to this really secluded uh, beach area cabin. It is Sergey's. The six of them are there for the weekend, and lo and behold, we find that Iris, who is Sophie Thatcher, uh, is a robot, or as some of the characters claimed her as a sex bot. Uh, Basically, Jack Quaid's character Josh is Iris's boyfriend, and they seem very loving and so on. But we all know that Iris is a robot. So as the weekend goes along, they, obviously they have sex, and then he tells her to go to the beach, and that's where she meets up with Sergey, who tries to make a move on her, while the other friends, Harvey Gillian plays Eli, and Patrick and Kat are there talking with Josh when Iris comes back covered in blood. And they ask what happened. Now they're trying to shut her down. And doing so, now their plot comes to fruition. So Sergey was a very wealthy guy, and he had millions stashed in this house. Josh, Eli, and Kat were planning on killing, or actually robbing, Sergey, but Iris put a spoil into that and killed Sergey. So now they have to come up with a way to frame her, which clearly they can because she's a robot, or so they think. So Iris, um, when she is awoken, is becoming a little bit more self-aware. And the reason why is because Josh programmed her, or took her programs out that would allow her to think. But he put them back in because he was the one pulling the strings. He wanted Iris to kill Sergey. Originally, they were only going to rob him, but when Sergey was started to make a move on Iris, he knew that he could get Iris to kill Sergey. So wild and crazy. Now Iris needs to figure out how to escape this crazy hire scheme, and she gets away, and she starts to figure out that there's a lot of things that she didn't know, and she did not know that she was a robot, and now she's learning as she goes along. Josh cannot shut her down. So Plan B is in effect. Patrick, who I thought was a little weird to begin with, uh, was actually Eli's sexbot companion. So he programs Patrick to go and kill Iris. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen either. Iris gets the upper hand on Patrick and then gets back to the cabin. So now she's in survival mode. She winds up killing Kat and Eli as well. And now she's going to try to kill Josh. But Patrick stops her for the time being because Patrick has been reprogrammed by Josh to be his companion. I know it gets really weird. Have we not learned from iRobots or the Terminator movies when AI gets self-aware that things can go a little chaos. Yeah. Well, this one is a lot of chaos. So now you had dueling robots, and so now Iris and Patrick are fighting, and it's just crazy. So then Iris is then shut down once again. Josh was able to finally get her down. So he calls the company that put her together to have her taken away, and he was going to rebuild Patrick because Patrick was a better model. And when they do, they tell they tell him, have you done anything to her, um, barriers and walls? Have you reprogrammed her with anything? And he was like, no, I think she just went on the fritz. And they were like, oh, well, we'll figure that all out. There is always backup memories in there. And he's like, really? I did not know that. So she had all of this data, built into her system. So Josh winds up killing the two uh, people that worked for the company and now has to take care of Iris herself. And eventually Iris gets the upper hand and takes out Josh. It is a crazy fun movie. Um, but again, have we not learned that having AI robots, I mean, I even forgot Ex Machina, which is probably just as good as this movie, maybe slightly better. But both movies are definitely way, way better than Megan 2.0, or even Megan to begin with. So if you're going to see one crazy robot movie this weekend, if you haven't seen Companion, I would recommend not going to the movie theater and seeing Megan 2.0. You should see Companion instead. Just my opinion. So, but again, if you liked the original Megan, I mean, far be it for me to say that you are wrong, because that's not what I do. I may disagree and tell you it's awful, but I would never tell you that you don't have an opinion, because you do. Um, we all, agree with, some things, and we all disagree on other things. Everybody's movie taste is different. So, but I am recommending Companion over Megan 2.0. So that is your weekend box office and your movie review for Companion. I hope that you enjoyed the episode. Again, remember to subscribe, like, comment, share. Go back and share this short with Bryce Dallas Howard. I know I keep talking about her, but it is what it is. And look for more. I'm going to shoot my shot shorts because it's coming up once I finish my Comic Con one. So whenever this gets done, because Comic Con season's coming up in August, and we're now almost late June. So also, 100 episodes will be coming out probably. I'm guessing at this rate, maybe close to the end of July. Who knows? So, any opinions or comments of what I should probably try to do for my 100th? Please feel free to share those. I am thinking maybe going live, but I don't know. I know there's not a lot of subscribers to the channel, but I also know that people are watching. So, it's hard to know. It is hard to know. But I knowing myself and knowing the fact that uh, I have to go back and review these before I send them out and do some cutting. Live could be really awkward or really bad for me. So who knows? But it might be a whole lot of fun too. I know Rich Keefe does his live, um, and interacts with comments, when his followers find it. So again, teach his own. And Rich has been doing this for a while now. I think they just did their 10th anniversary show on Sunday, which I have to go back and watch. So, with that being said, thanks all for watching, and I'll see you all at the movies.
You like that, baby? Let him know where I came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.